In the relentless pursuit of beauty, many celebrities have overindulged in plastic surgery, transforming their once iconic features into something nearly unrecognizable. From minor tweaks gone wrong to complete facial overhauls, these stories will make you question the true cost of chasing perfection. Leave a comment with the number 1 and join us as we explore 20 celebrities who ruined their faces through cosmetic surgery. You're watching Ex-Hollywood Mistakes. 1. Donatella Versace. When perfection becomes a mask. Donatella Versace once embodied Italian grace, golden hair, warm smile, and quiet strength after the tragic loss of her brother Gianni. But in the early 2000s, her reflection began to change. Her skin grew tighter, her features sharper, her lips fuller. Each surgery promised youth, but instead, it created distance. Distance from the woman she once was. What once made her powerful, her confidence, became hidden behind layers of fear and reconstruction. Today, Donatella remains a symbol of fashion, but also a haunting reminder of what happens when beauty becomes an obsession. 2. Carol Bryan, the woman who lost her face. Carol Bryan wanted what many women want: to feel fresh, alive, confident again. In 2009, she trusted a cosmetic procedure to restore her youthful glow. But what she got was tragedy. 2 incompatible fillers were injected into her face, silicone among them. Within months, her skin began to swell uncontrollably. Her forehead drooped over her eyes. She could barely see herself, or even the world around her. Her life fell apart. She hid from mirrors, from friends, from light itself. A 17-hour surgery later saved her life, but it couldn't save her vision in one eye. Today, Carol speaks not with vanity, but with courage, reminding others that beauty should never come at the cost of your humanity. 3. Jocelyn Wildenstein, the Catwoman of Fifth Avenue. Jocelyn once lived a life of opulence, love, art, and wealth. But when her marriage began to fade, she tried to hold on to something she could control: her face. Inspired by her husband's love for wild cats, Jocelyn reshaped herself, quite literally, to look more feline. Her eyes lifted, her cheeks sculpted, her skin tightened until she became unrecognizable. They called her Catwoman. She called it love. But behind the surgeries was heartbreak. A woman trying to be enough for someone who was already gone. Now in her 80s, Jocelyn still walks with grace. A living story of how love and loss can reshape us in more ways than one. 4. Raji Narinesingh, the woman filled with cement. Raji wanted beauty, but beauty betrayed her. In 2005, she sought cheap filler injections, a shortcut that cost her more than she could imagine. The so-called doctor used a horrifying mixture of cement, tire sealant, and mineral oil. It hardened beneath her skin. Her face swelled, distorted, and turned painful. For years, Raji hid, ashamed, broken, and terrified. When she appeared on Botched, doctors helped her regain some of her natural features. They couldn't remove all the damage, but they gave her something else, her dignity back. Raji now speaks out with courage, showing the world that self-worth doesn't come from surgery, it comes from survival. Igor and Grichka Bogdanoff, the alien twins. In the 1970s, Igor and Grichka were the faces of intellect and charm, beloved for their sci-fi shows in France. But by the 1990s, their faces began to change. Cheekbones soared unnaturally high, chins stretched long, lips fuller, skin unnervingly tight. They denied ever going under the knife, calling their transformation an experiment. But their once handsome faces became alien-like, surreal, and haunting. The Bogdanoff twins became symbols of how the line between genius and obsession can blur. Their pursuit of perfection made them legends, but also living enigmas, trapped behind the masks they created. 6. Anastasia Pokreshchuk, the woman with the world's largest cheeks. For Ukrainian model Anastasia, beauty was never enough. It had to be extraordinary. In her 20s, she began small, a little filler, a little lip enhancement, but soon her cheeks became her obsession. Today, her face is defined by enormous cheek fillers, sharp jaw lines, and plump lips that dominate her delicate features. Critics call her unnatural, but Anastasia says she finally feels seen. Before, she says, "I felt like a gray mouse." Now, she feels unique, unapologetically herself. Her story is a reminder that self-acceptance can take strange forms, and not every transformation is born from regret. 7. Mickey Rourke, the fighter who lost his face. Mickey Rourke wasn't just handsome, he was magnetic. In the 1980s, his face was his fortune. Then came boxing, and with it, devastating injuries. Broken bones, shattered cheekbones, and surgeries meant to repair them. But something went wrong. His face swelled, reshaped, and stiffened. The rugged movie star became a man unrecognizable even to himself. He later admitted, "I picked the wrong doctor to fix my face." And yet, in that brokenness, Mickey found raw truth, starring in The Wrestler, a story of pain, redemption, and identity. He may have lost his looks, but he never lost his heart. 8. Courtney Cox, the woman who undid her youth. We all loved her as Monica from Friends, expressive, warm, real. But fame can make you chase yesterday. In her 40s, Courtney turned to fillers and Botox. Small things at first, until one led to another. Soon she looked in the mirror and saw someone else. Her face was too smooth, her cheeks too high, her expressions frozen. Fans noticed. So did she. In 2017, Courtney had her fillers dissolved. She said softly, "I didn't realize I looked so strange until people started talking about it." Now she embraces her age, proof that true beauty doesn't come from a needle, but from acceptance. 9. Priscilla Presley, when beauty meets betrayal. In 2003, Priscilla Presley, once the stunning wife of Elvis, trusted the wrong hands. An unlicensed doctor injected industrial-grade silicone into her face. What followed was horrifying. Lumps, paralysis, and scars. Her skin stretched, her lips stiffened, and her once soft expressions turned rigid. Even after corrective surgery, her face never fully recovered. Her pursuit of youth became a fight against damage, both physical and emotional. Priscilla's story isn't about vanity, it's about trust, and how one betrayal can change a life forever. 10. Sharon Osbourne, the facelift that went too far. Sharon has always been honest about her surgeries, breast implants, facelifts, neck lifts, but her 2021 operation broke her spirit. After 5.5 hours under the knife, she woke up and didn't recognize herself. One eye sat lower than the other. Her face felt distorted. Even Ozzy was shocked. She said, "I looked like Quasimodo." The pain, physical and emotional, was unbearable. She later underwent another surgery to fix it. Today, Sharon says she's done. "I'm finished with changing how I look," she admits. And maybe that's the most powerful change of all, to finally stop running from your own reflection. 11. Katie Price, the woman who couldn't stop. Katie Price, once adored for her natural beauty, became a symbol of transformation gone too far. Her early modeling days were filled with soft features, a radiant smile, and a confidence that felt effortless. But as fame grew, so did her insecurities. Over the years, she underwent countless surgeries, 6 facelifts, multiple brow lifts, lip fillers, and nose reshaping. Each procedure promised just a little improvement. But soon, her once gentle face became tight and expressionless. Her brows arched unnaturally high, her cheeks puffed with fillers, and her lips swollen with injections. Critics mocked her. Fans pitied her. But Katie never apologized. "It's like maintaining a car," she once said. "You just fix what's broken." Her story is tragic not because she changed her face, but because she forgot how beautiful she already was. 12. Carrot Top, the comedian who became his own punchline. Scott Thompson, better known as Carrot Top, built his career on laughter. Wild hair, wild jokes, wild energy. But over time, his face became the joke he never intended to tell. Fans began noticing changes: sharper cheekbones, arched brows, skin stretched too tight. Rumors of surgery spread like wildfire: cheek implants, Botox, brow lifts. Carrot Top denied it all. He said it was just working out and eating clean. But behind the humor, there seemed to be fear. Fear of fading from relevance, of being forgotten in a world that worships youth. In chasing the energy of his early years, Carrot Top lost what made him truly funny: the ease, the authenticity, the humanity behind the humor. 13. Pete Burns, the rock star who rebuilt himself. Pete Burns was unforgettable, the voice behind "You Spin Me Round" like a record, and the face of fearless self-expression. But the mirror became his enemy. After a broken nose led to his first surgery, Pete spiraled into an obsession. 4 nose jobs, cheek implants, and over 300 procedures later, his face was barely human, swollen, scarred, and painful. His lips became so infected from fillers that he nearly lost them. He once said, "I'm Frankenstein. My face is held together by surgeries." Yet even through the pain, Pete remained unapologetic. "My face, my rules," he said. He passed away in 2016, a legend, but also a warning that identity built on transformation can consume you whole. 14. Janice Dickinson, the supermodel who couldn't age. Janice Dickinson was once called the world's first supermodel. In the 1980s, she was raw, fierce, and magnetic. But when time began to show on her face, she refused to let it. Janice began a long list of procedures: facelifts, liposuction, Botox, breast implants. Each surgery pulled her further from the woman who once ruled runways. Her face tightened, her cheeks hollowed, her expressions lost. But what hurt most wasn't the surgery. It was the silence that followed. The industry that once worshipped her beauty no longer recognized her. Today, Janice admits she regrets some choices. "I was afraid of disappearing," she said softly. Her story reminds us that aging isn't the enemy. Fear is. 15. Michael Jackson, the king who changed his reflection. Michael Jackson's transformation was the most public in history, from the boy with the wide smile and soft features to the man behind the mask. It began innocently, a nose job after an accident. But as fame intensified, so did his surgeries: nose reshaping, skin bleaching, chin cleft, cheek implants. Each year, he looked less like Michael and more like an echo of himself. He once said, "I don't want to look like anyone else. I just want to look like me." But in trying to escape judgment, he lost the very image that made the world love him. Michael's face became the symbol of perfection's darkest price. A man who gave the world everything, except peace with his own reflection. 16. Heidi Montag, the girl who became her own project. Heidi Montag was America's reality TV sweetheart, young, bubbly, and full of life. Then one day she walked into a surgeon's office and asked for 10 procedures in a single day. A nose job, brow lift, chin reduction, breast enlargement, fat injections, liposuction. When she looked in the mirror afterward, she saw a stranger. Heidi later confessed, "I almost died that day. I was trapped in my own obsession." The physical pain was immense, but the emotional one was worse. She felt hollow, chasing an idea of beauty that never existed. Years later, she said, "I wish I'd never done it." Her story is not about vanity, but about the pressure to be perfect in a world that profits from your insecurity. 17. Lara Flynn Boyle, the actress who vanished behind her face. Once the elegant star of Twin Peaks, Lara Flynn Boyle's natural beauty was effortless. Porcelain skin, delicate smile, expressive eyes. But in her 40s, she turned to fillers and Botox, hoping to preserve that youth. Instead, her face became swollen and rigid. Her once soft features turned almost unrecognizable. Hollywood, ruthless as always, moved on. Lara disappeared from the spotlight, becoming a ghost of her former self, living proof that in Hollywood, beauty is both a gift and a curse. Her transformation was not vanity, it was fear. The fear of being forgotten by an industry that forgets women as they age. 18. Lil Kim, the queen who lost her face to pressure. Lil Kim was a powerhouse, a trailblazer who defined confidence and bold femininity in hip-hop. But years of public criticism about her looks left scars deeper than skin. She began altering her face: lighter skin tone, reshaped nose, higher cheeks, fuller lips. The result was striking, but heartbreaking. She once admitted, "I've been told I'm not pretty enough since I was a child." Her surgeries weren't for fame. They were for acceptance. Behind the glamour and fame was a woman trying to feel worthy. Lil Kim's transformation is a story of pain disguised as perfection. 19. Meg Ryan, the smile that disappeared. Meg Ryan's smile once defined a generation. Soft, romantic, endlessly charming, she was the queen of 90s rom-coms. But as years passed, she turned to cosmetic procedures, fillers, lip injections, and Botox. The result was tragic. Her famous smile stiffened, her warmth faded. Fans didn't recognize her. Casting directors stopped calling. And the woman who once symbolized authenticity became another, Hollywood cautionary tale. Meg never spoke much about it, but her silence said everything. The pain of losing not your beauty, but your identity. 20. Joan Rivers, the comedian who laughed through the pain. Joan Rivers turned her insecurities into punchlines. "I wish I had a twin so I could see what I'd look like without plastic surgery," she once joked. Over 700 procedures later, her face was stretched to perfection and exhaustion. Each surgery brought laughter, but also fear. Fear of aging, fear of losing relevance, fear of being forgotten. Behind the humor was heartbreak. Joan wasn't just mocking beauty standards, she was a victim of them. Even until her last days, she chased youth with the same fire that made her famous. She taught us that humor can hide pain, and that sometimes the brightest smiles mask the deepest scars. Fame demands perfection, but perfection doesn't exist. For these 20 souls, the mirror became a battlefield. Each surgery, each scar, each regret, a reminder that chasing beauty can cost more than youth. It can cost you. So before you judge their faces, remember their stories. Because beneath the scalpel and the spotlight, they were all just human, searching for love, acceptance, and the courage to be seen.